Okay, today I want to cover a way that you can quickly factorize cubics. It's a very common part B question. Part A we've covered already with the factor theorem. So we know that, for example, we substitute in -1, we substitute into all of our numbers, and then we write a conclusion. Don't forget to write the conclusion. And that's been covered in an earlier video. But when we know that x plus 1 is a factor, how can we fully factorize? Let's cover that one there. I'll just write there and a conclusion as well. Well, here's one way that you might want to start working this out. So the idea is going to be that if we have x plus 1 and something else, they're going to be equivalent to, okay? They're going to be the same as this cubic that we have in front of us. Now, what's this other, what else goes in this bracket here? Well, the idea is if this is an x and this is an x cubed, there has to be some sort of quadratic term. So the general term that we write is like this, and you do have to have an a. Notice that sometimes if you don't have an a value here, it will be completely wrong. Here, it's kind of obvious that the a value will be 1, but that's not always the case. So anyway, let me kind of show you the method. So instead of writing it like this, we're going to write it in a grid. So we sort of do a rough grid, something like this, x plus 1, and then along the top, there's quite a few different ways you could do it. Here's not a bad way of doing it. For example, you might write mystery x squared term, mystery x term, okay, and then term there. And the idea is that this part should go into the grid, okay? And it's a bit like a puzzle, really, that you start solving. So 2x cubed goes here on your grid because it's when there's x times x squared. The other next easiest number to place in the grid is the -2. So if you put the -2 down there, because it's when you get a number multiplied by a number, that's when you get -2. The 5x squared is a bit more difficult because it comes from here and it comes from here. So the 5x squared is actually sort of made up from two boxes. And the 1x also has sort of the same thing. It's that box there. It's that box there. So these are a little bit more difficult. You probably don't actually have to write this down. You probably just do this in your head, but just a bit of a guide for you, really. So we're ready to start having a go at the puzzle now. So the puzzle is when you have some numbers that are in your grid, can you find any that are at the top here? And when you have new numbers at the top here, can you find new numbers in your grid? So there's lots of ways of doing it, but let's just have a go now. So what number, how many x times how many x squared gives you 2x cubed? Clearly, this is a 2. Okay, well, when that's a 2, what can you now do? Well, you can now use this information this way. So 2x squared times 1 gives you 2x squared. Well, when you have 2x squared, and you know that together you're meant to get 5x squared, then suddenly you can say, well, this must be 3x squared. Because look, together, 5x squared. And can you see what's happening now? We're starting to solve the puzzle. X times how many x gives us 3x squared? Well, it's going to be 3x. Okay? And you could keep going through the diagram if you want, like that. Yeah, here would be our next bit, and then we would do this bit. But you can also work from sort of, instead of the highest power, you can work from the lowest power, the constants. So 1 multiplied by what number is going to give you -2? Well, clearly the answer is -2. And actually, we don't need to go any further. We've done what we needed to do, which is we found our mystery quadratic here. Okay, so the x plus 1 that we knew from before, and our new quadratic. So we're going to say now we've got x plus 1 multiplied by 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Now the final part of what we should do is we should try and factorize this if we can. We should assume that it factorizes first and have a go. And when you play around with that, you'll find that your factors are as follows. So use the general techniques that you would to do this, you'll get this result. I also have to do this because it said fully factorise. Okay, so this is using the grid to factorise. So we're going to do one more and we're going to speed it up a little bit. So here's our question. You can pause the video for yourself and have a quick go at the start. Now, again, I'm not going to go over part A because we've done this before, okay? But the idea would be that you would sub in minus a half into, 2, blah, 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 cube, blah, 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 and you would show that that's 0 and you would do your conclusion. Okay, I'm more interested in part B and using the grid. So we know that 2x plus 1 goes in our, is one of our factors, okay? And the challenge is, can we fully factorize? Can we work out what the other part will be? Well, now that we've done our grid, let's have a go. So what will this bit be here? Well, this will be a quadratic, because a linear times a quadratic is going to give you a cubic. Okay, so I'm going to do a mystery number of x squared, a mystery number of x values, a mystery number, and I'm going to write in the easy ones, which are these two here. So this is 2x cubed. That's a minus 2. And just to explain my thinking, I'm going to write down that they should be minus 1 together, and this should be minus 5 together. Now let's start working out some of the values, shall we? So the first one is kind of a gimme. So that's a 2. Yeah. No, actually, no, it's not. Sorry, it's making a 2. Right. So that's going to be just a 1, isn't it? 1x squared. Next, let's do these together over here. So this would give me an x cubed. Yeah, 1x cubed. So that means over here, this must be, because together they add to minus 1, this must be a minus 2x squared. 2x times how many x's give you minus 2x squared? That must mean that this is a minus 1 then. Okay. And the final bit, you could do this part, but it's easier to just say 1 times what gives you minus 2. Clearly, it's minus 2. So we can factorize it by writing it as 2x plus 1, and the quadratic seems to be x squared minus x minus 2. And you'll find again that this one factorizes quite nicely. So this is just going to be an x plus 2. Oh, I made a mistake here. An x minus 2 even, and an x plus 1. I think that's correct, isn't it? Okay, so that's how we can sort of quickly factorize our expressions.